and I'm gonna get emotional now, is all I was trying to do was my best for your old man. Because he gave me such a gift. I loved Ozzy Osbourne my whole life. From 2 years old, before I even knew who he was. And it's like, I just loved your dad. And I just was like...
It had only been a few months since the world lost Ozzy Osbourne, the man who changed rock forever. But for his son, Jack, the loss was still raw.
You know, my dad was a special guy. You know, he wasn't just a father. To me, he was my colleague. We worked together in so many capacities.
When he sat down behind the microphone for a new episode of his podcast, Trying Not to Die, he expected to talk about music, grief, and legacy. What he didn't expect was that midway through the conversation, his voice would fail him.
You've been so, and as a family, we've talked about this, you've been so graceful over the last 2 months.
Oh, bud. Oh, bud.
The guest that day was Youngblood, the young artist who had shared an unlikely friendship with Ozzy in his final years, and who had faced a wave of criticism after performing a tribute to the metal icon at the 2025 VMAs.
Dad?
Look what I made you something. I made you something. I wanted to... Obviously, you gave me a cross, and I wanted to return the favor.
Oh my good God.
So I made you something.
Fucking unbelievable. Sharon, have you seen this?
Yes, I have, and it's fucking
You
unbelievable.
made it.
The performance had been meant as love, a celebration of life, not death. Youngblood stood under the lights beside Aerosmith's Steven Tyler and Joe Perry, tearing through Crazy Train, Changes, and Mama, I'm Coming Home in front of millions. But when the applause faded, the backlash came.
The way I see it, we were all like, yeah, you go. I mean, I fucking texted you the night of the gig, and I was like, fucking crush it.
And I'm gonna get emotional now, is all I was trying to do was my best for your old man. Because he gave me such a gift.
Some rock veterans called it opportunistic, accusing him of chasing clout, of standing in the shadow of a legend for attention. Jack Osbourne had watched it unfold in silence. But on the podcast, sitting across from the young man his father had once called family, he couldn't hold it back any longer.
Very good. Look at that.
Thank you.
Of course, man. Thank you, man, for everything, man. It's a...
Got to conquer America.
And then the world.
That's the next goal, baby.
Stop.
Just keep going.
Yeah, man.
Don't give in.
No, man, never.
After the VMAs, there were some rock stars slagging you off, Jack said quietly. They were like, he's just jumping on the bandwagon of Ozzy passing. His voice cracked as he went on.
You know, some rock stars were slagging you off and kind of being like, oh, he's just clout chasing, he's jumping on the bandwagon of, you know, Ozzy passing. But I kind of wanted to use this opportunity to talk about that.
They don't know what we know. The room fell still. Jack tried to continue, but the words collapsed beneath the weight of his grief. He paused, pressing his fingers to his eyes. Youngblood reached over, pulling him into a hug. "Oh, Bud," he whispered. For a moment, it wasn't an interview. It was two friends mourning the same man. Through tears, Jack managed. "You were so much more involved. We've respected that you've respected that." To Youngblood, Ozzy hadn't been a legend. He'd been a mentor, a kindred spirit.
Ozzy was my North Star. Like, I felt like I was just getting to know him. And it, like, it was making me emotional because I was like, I feel like I finally getting to kind of like thank him. I getting to sing for him at the Back to the Beginning concert and sing that song and watch the world really wrap around that moment. He died. It was like, I think that's also why I can't sleep as well. The past couple of weeks have been so weird.
Because you were that connected to Ozzy Osbourne?
I loved Ozzy Osbourne my whole life. From 2 years old. Before I even knew who he was a caricature.
In the TV show, you watched that?
I watched that every night.
All I was trying to do was my best for your old man.
And when people try and intellectualize a sense of spirit and 6 musicians on a stage going, we fucking...
Yeah.
It's just bitter and jealous, and they are doing the things that they say that we are doing. They're trying to insert themselves into a conversation to obtain some
100%.
kind of relevancy.
I just loved your dad. Months earlier, at Ozzy's final Back to the Beginning show in Birmingham, Youngblood had stood under the same stage lights to perform Changes, the song that once brought them together. Just weeks later, Ozzy was gone, a cardiac arrest ending 5 decades of chaos, laughter, and immortality. Now, in that small podcast studio, surrounded by silence, Two men, one who had lost a father, one who had lost a friend, found themselves defending love against cynicism.
Like, I just loved your dad. And I just was like...
It wasn't about headlines or legacy. It was about connection, honesty, and music that still refused to die. Because sometimes the loudest tribute isn't the one on stage, it's the moment someone breaks down, still trying to keep the story of someone they loved alive.
Just a friend, a text buddy, a joke cracker, I was so lucky. I had such a great relationship with him, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that he was my father.
Somewhere far from the noise, Sharon Osbourne sat in the glow of a laptop screen, watching her son on the verge of breaking. The room was still. Only the faint hum of a lamp and Jack's trembling voice filled the silence. For years, she had been the one holding the chaos together, the stage manager of madness, the calm eye in Ozzy's hurricane. But this was different. There were no cameras, no pyrotechnics, no encore, just grief, raw and unfiltered, spilling out of her son's mouth. When Jack's voice cracked, something inside her did too. She knew that sound, the sound of a heart folding in on itself. She'd heard it before, backstage, in hospital rooms, in late-night phone calls that ended in silence. And then she saw young blood, the boy with the messy hair and the loud heart, reach across the table and hug her son. That image hit her harder than any headline ever could. 2 generations of rock and rebellion, holding each other up because the man who once held them both was gone. The irony wasn't lost on her. For decades, Ozzy had been accused of losing control. But here, it was the world that had lost control, of kindness, of empathy, of grace. People screaming on social media about a tribute, as if grief needed permission slips. Sharon leaned back, exhaled slowly. She remembered the day Youngblood came to their house for the first time. Nervous, respectful, wide-eyed. Ozzy had seen himself in him, that wild spark of someone who didn't know how to be anything but honest.
There we go. Rock and roll. Rock and roll! Good luck out there, and I'll see you Saturday.
Yeah.
She smiled at the thought. Never compromise, Ozzy had told him once. They'll understand later. Later had arrived, and still, not everyone understood. On the screen, Jack wiped his tears. Youngblood said, "I just loved your dad." And that was it. The truth, naked and undeniable. No PR spin, no rock mythology. Just love, the kind that stays loud, even when the music stops. Sharon closed the laptop and sat in silence. Somewhere, maybe, Ozzy was laughing. That deep, chaotic, beautiful laugh that could turn pain into noise and noise into life.
Sharon!
What has she done to help you get where you are?
She wouldn't take any crap.
And in that moment, she realized this was the encore. Not the songs, not the lights, but the way people who truly knew him kept his spirit alive. One broken voice, one shaky hug, one truth at a time. Because legends don't really die. They just echo in the hearts that refuse to forget them.
I feel unhappy. I feel so sad. I've lost the best friend that I ever had.
While the world argued online about tributes and tears, Amy Osbourne was somewhere else entirely, sitting in a dark editing suite, watching her father come back to life on screen. No screaming crowds, just the quiet click of film reels, and Ozzy's voice filling the room like a ghost refusing to fade. For most of her life, Amy had been the shadow in the Osbourne story, the daughter who stayed off camera while the rest of her family lived on MTV. The irony? Now she was the one holding the camera, framing the truth no one had really seen. The documentary No Escape From Now wasn't about the Prince of Darkness. It was about the man who woke up every day in pain and still made jokes about it. The man who fell, got up, fell again, and somehow kept laughing. In one clip, Ozzy stares straight into the lens and says, "You can't enjoy anything." It lands like a cymbal crash in an empty stadium. Brutal, honest, human. Ame pauses the footage and whispers to herself, "He still tried though." The fall in 2019 changed everything. It wasn't just a stumble, it was gravity reminding the world's wildest frontman that even legends have bones. The doctors said recovery, but Ame knew it was farewell disguised as hope. Her mother called it unbearable pain. Her father called it boredom. Both were right, and through it all, Ame found herself drifting back toward the family she'd once run from. The cameras she'd avoided now became her weapon, capturing the honesty she couldn't speak. The irony cut deep, the quiet Osbourne giving her father the loudest goodbye. In the film's closing scene, Ozzy laughs, that wild, broken, beautiful laugh, and says, "If I'm going out loud." The screen fades to black. Ame stays seated, eyes wet, Smiling through the silence, she knows this is how his story ends, not with a scream, but with a sigh that still echoes. Because behind every legend is a daughter, a family, a camera, and the unspoken truth that even when the curtain falls, the music never really stops.